Hello, everyone. Warmest welcomes to the Holy Comforter Episcopal Church YouTube Bible study. I'm Jimmy Abbott, the priest at Holy Comforter Episcopal Church in Spring, Texas, and I have a few thoughts and reflections for you on the gospel lesson for this upcoming Sunday, October 25th, which is taken from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 33 through 46. For many of us, this passage is part of our Sunday experience if we are Rite One Episcopalians. The celebrant will start by saying, "Hear what our Lord Jesus Christ saith, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets." Gosh, I just love that language, and I hope you do too. Now, I think when Jesus is saying to the Sadducees and to the lawyer who asks him in this passage, what is the greatest commandment? And he says these two, I think what we see here is an encapsulation of the two poles, the two axes, if you will, that run throughout the Old Testament and indeed into the New Testament. On the one hand, you have the priestly element of the Old Testament, focus so much on worship and right worship of right offerings and sacrifices to God. And then on the other hand, you have the prophets, always calling the people back to proper respect, justice to their neighbors. And we see these two elements all throughout the Old Testament sort of ping-ponging back and forth against one another. We get this so much in the prophets of, say, Micah, to love justice and walk humbly with your God. And then you have all of the priestly ritual texts all throughout the Old Testament describing the right ways to worship God. And I think then here Jesus is encapsulating and saying that both of those commandments are the whole of the law. And that worship, right worship, means that one will do good works and love justice for their neighbor. And if one is doing right works and is seeking after justice and loving neighbor, then one will definitely have to be loving God. I think that worship without right works just becomes a sort of performative theater that has no meaning. And I think that works without worship is good, but it's just a sort of social agency. We as Christians are supposed to have our hearts turned toward grace, and that we are completely loving to God and to neighbor. Robert Jenson, the Reformed theologian, he says that sin is the incurvature of our souls. And so I think here what Jesus is calling us to do is to curve our souls outward so that we love both God and neighbor with all that we are and all that we have. Thank you for joining me, and I pray that this week your souls may be curved outward, both in right worship and in right service to your neighbor.